Are we to talk about the movie that gets it right?
The movie that gets it right, it's this.
And I agree with Jack here. This absolutely gets this right. This is, just to lead in, it's blockbuster entertainment. It is, it's a summer movie, but it's a lot more. You get more out of it every time you watch it.
We are, of course, talking about Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Now, this is a movie that I'm going to throw this out there. And, you know, people may disagree with this, but I think this is absolutely Shakespearean in its ideas.
Oh, I'd say absolutely, yeah.
I remember reading a quote once from a review that said, it's like staring into the souls of desperate men at the end of the world. Something along those lines, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I honestly think that this is the high art at its most sneaky.
Yeah.
Like, they've basically, Christopher Nolan has snuck a message movie
It's an art house comic book movie, actually.
It is.
I'd say, just as a side thing, it's basically, Ang Lee tried to do this with Hulk and massively fucked it up. Chris Nolan gets it right in this movie.
Definitely. The Dark Knight, though, I thought Batman Begins was good, but I wasn't raving over it.
I love Batman Begins, actually. Because I loved it because it's like, wow, I'm seeing a Batman movie actually about Batman. Which for me was quite refreshing.
Exactly, after the Joel Schumacher suckfest, which were just...
I'm trying to repress, don't pick the scabs, I'm trying to repress.
Having said that, I can watch and enjoy those movies more than I can some modern movies that I consider to be shit.
Yes.
Like, they are shit that's watchable.
There's charm in them, at least.
Like, but anyway, back to The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight definitely gets it all right. It's a 2.5 hour movie, but because of the script and the pacing, it doesn't
I thought I was sat in there for half an hour.
Yeah.
I really did.
And I can honestly say, I was telling Sam about this last night. When I saw The Dark Knight in the cinema, when it finished, I was literally awestruck. I actually got misty-eyed watching that in the cinema because it was the first film I'd seen in the theatre. That I actually sat there and I thought, what is the point in me becoming a filmmaker? Because I will never be able to make something that good.
I'm like that when you see a lot of movies. Basically anything by Scorsese. I'm just going to hand in my work card because we're done.
But the Dark Knight, that was almost a spiritual experience. I honestly, this is what people have said about Avatar, and we'll get onto that later on. But I honestly think The Dark Knight is the best film of the last 10 years.
I'd say it's one of in terms of entertainment, because I just want to say, I'll switch to it. Essentially, you got to look at what this film is. I'm not taking anything away from it, but the reason why you got to appreciate it is The Dark Knight is a film about a guy who dresses up like a bat to bash criminals over the head. When you look at it from its most basic elements, this film could be seen as quite silly. That's why Batman the character was so easy to campify in the 60s. Because of the basic premise. But what Christopher Nolan did was he took, I think, a crime movie. It's a crime movie, and it just happens to have Batman in it. And that's what's brilliant. Also, you've got to talk about this movie, you've got to talk about Heath Ledger's Joker. And this is where the intelligence of the audience comes in, because there's no explanation for the Joker. You don't know why he's doing what he's doing.
I just want to interject there. People, I get so pissed off when people complain about the fact we don't know Joker's origin. Because they obviously, even, I don't care whether you've read the books or not, like me, let's imagine, because I have read the books, but let's imagine that I haven't. I would enjoy the character a lot more, not knowing his origin. I think keeping the villain a figure of mystery is far more sinister, and it just does a lot more for the character than having some sort of intricate backstory. I mean, an example of how they fucked that up was with Saw. You know, Jigsaw.
They fleshed out Jigsaw to a ridiculous
to the point where I feel like I know the guy. Like, you know, it's like you've been sat with him in a bar and he's telling you his life story.
And you know his order. You know what Jigsaw wants when he goes, I'll have another strong boat.
You know, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm going to say, side note, Saw 1, good movie. Saws 2 to 200, however many they've done now.
The only other Saw I saw and liked, so before going on this, another tangent. Saw 2 I didn't like. Saw 3 I quite enjoyed.
Saw 3, had they taken out all the shit in the warehouse, I would have liked it. Had it just been a tight little psychological thriller between Jigsaw and Amanda, and just them in that room, I would have liked it a lot more. because the is it Jeff who's going around doing his little traps and shit?
Yeah.
When I'm watching it, I fast forward those and just get to the jigsaw bits.
Yeah.
Because I reckon that's just the right amount of reveal for the character. But yeah, anyway, that's the Saw movies.
But also, just to go completely back to where we were, we'll talk about the Joker and the fact that villains are given too much flesh often in movies. Everything is explained to the audience, which leads us to, like I say, one of the big questions. The fact that, for me, it's not the fact that the Joker's backstory isn't fleshed out that confused the audience, is the fact that what the Joker wants. A villain in a movie is often given a clear goal.
Yeah.
You know, what Hitchcock called his MacGuffin. Yeah, I need this to do this to get this. Right? Joker doesn't have that. And Alfred makes reference to that. He's like, Batman says, you know, Bruce or whatever says, all I have to do is figure out what he wants. And Alfred, and the whole point of this is Alfred's been in war. He's seen the true darkness of humanity. Yeah. And Alfred says, I've seen this guy before. He's just nuts. He don't want anything. You've never seen this before, and you can't cope with it.
He just wants to
set the world burn, wasn't it? That's the line, yeah.
So that's something that you don't see often enough in movies. Like,
no.
And I always think when the villain has a goal, most of the time they come across as being a bit of a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
They're just an engine for that goal. And
well, also, often there's a much easier way to achieve said goal than the one they try and think of. Yeah.
It's not often you get like an A to B storyline for a villain that works well. But to have the Dark Knight bomb in on cinema and be like, here's everything that every filmmaker is doing at the moment, fuck that, here's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I honestly think for that reason, the Dark Knight for me just stands head and shoulders above most of what's out there.
I love Dark Knight. I would literally say the Dark Knight for me is the godfather of Superman movie, not Superman, superhero movies.
Yeah, definitely.
For years and years and years, I will be the standard. Again, to another side note, and don't get me wrong, I did love it, but everyone thought the Watchmen would be the standard for which superhero cinema would judge. Watchmen isn't.
No, it's good.
It's good. It's still gonna be for me the Dark Knight, because, like I said, to just sum up the Dark Knight, so I think we can compare it to the other movie. For me, the stuff that Dark Knight does right is great action sequences, brilliantly performed. Doesn't explain everything to the audience, and this is the key thing. Asks the audience questions.
Yeah.
And doesn't necessarily provide them with answers, even when the credits roll. Dark Knight ends on a down note.
It does.
The Dark Knight ends on a massive down note. You know, he fails, essentially. The Joker succeeds in a large extent. And I think to say everything that's right with the Dark Knight, we then have to look at its evil reflection.